Welcome to the next installment in my video lecture series for international economics. And in this particular video lecture, I'm going to be looking at production in the specific factors model. Specifically, how do you determine how much of each item is being produced in this model, and also taking a look at what happens or what is the response that if I change the price of one of the commodities that is being produced, and how does that change the level of output in each of the sectors. So if you take a look here, I have a PPF. Your book would reference it as PP, but in my entire career I've always referred to it as the PPF. We have a PPF that exhibits increasing opportunity cost. This is to reflect the fact that we are talking about the specific factors model, and that when we're assuming that the only input that can be transferred amongst the two different sectors here, food and cloth production, is labor, and that each of them have specific factors that is not transferable to the other. So for example, in food production we have land that's available, and that's not perfectly transferable to producing cloth. So as you remember from the textbook, the slope of the PPF is equal to the negative of the ratio of the marginal product of labor of food divided by the marginal product of labor for cloth production. And the output is determined when the ratio of the prices of the two commodities, and I refer to this sometimes as the price line, that this price line is just tangent to the PPF. So what this is telling us is that the slope of that price line is equivalent to the slope of the PPF, and that will determine our output level. And in this particular graph, this gives us an output of food of Q1F. Let me highlight these for you, and I gotta hold the right button down in order to do that. And it gives us an output of Q1C. So for these prices, for this particular PPF, we are going to see an output level of Q1F in food and Q1C in cloth production. So that just illustrates how the output level is determined in the specific factors model. So let's take a look at what happens if we change the price, and let's make the assumption that the price of cloth is going to increase. So the numerator here is going to increase, but the denominator is going to stay the same. So the numerator is going to increase, the denominator is going to remain the same. So the slope or the ratio of these prices is going to become steeper. So the slope of this line will change and will become steeper. So let us actually illustrate that and see what happens. I'm going to cheat and copy this, so it'll make it easier. And then I will adjust this way. And let me change the notation on this so that you know that this is now the ratio of the prices after the price increase in cloth. So now we have a new price line, a new ratio of prices. And if I bring that in here and make it just tangent to the PPF, and let me draw a dot in here just to illustrate that point. So that is the new point where the ratio of the prices is now equal to the slope of the PPF after the price of cloth has increased. So let me draw in some dotted lines here so that can be seen. Let me change that. And let me change the width of it so it matches the width of the other ones. That looks better. Let me get rid of that. And let me bring that line straight down. And again, let me cheat a little bit. Copy these to make it a little bit faster. And let me change the notation. So we see here that what occurs, that when the price of cloth increases, we see a decrease in the production of food. Makes sense because it is cloth is more valuable relative to food production. Therefore, we would expect resources to be reallocated away from food production and into cloth production. So because of the increase in the price of cloth, we see the production of food decreasing. And of course, let me change this correctly so this has a 2 next to it. So we see the production of food falling because of the increase in the production in the price of cloth. Let me cheat again and copy this and move it over and change the notation to indicate that this is the second level of output. So what do we see? As the price of cloth increases, as expected, we would expect to see an increase in the production of cloth. Cloth is a more valuable output relative to food production. So as I stated previously, that as the price of cloth goes up, resources will be reallocated away from food production, so food production will decrease. And those resources will be reallocated over to cloth production, and we will see an increase in cloth production because of the increase in the price of cloth.